man.
You should not feel this way because you are a man. But I am telling you that you harmed me. So what you want me to do is you want me to make the emotional space for you, and you are not willing to reciprocate it for me, girl, fuck you.
I'm sorry. I know they're gonna be mad that I'm laughing, but I mean, that's facts though. It's facts.
I am an equal opportunity, I'm gonna piss you off person.
Everybody gonna be pissed off.
Everybody gonna be pissed off.
Welcome back to the podcast. I started this podcast as a way to help Black men in all aspects of our lives. Studies show on average we lose 2.8 years of our life when we're under heavy stress. And I think we can gain those 2.8 years back if we express ourselves healthily. Stick with me as I interview therapists, doctors, advocates, activists, and friends about how we can be better as Black men and as a Black community. If you're not subscribed to us on YouTube and following us on Instagram and TikTok, you'll definitely want to do that. Without further ado, let's get into the episode. Okay, listen, this episode is a classic, okay? This episode is a classic, and I lied, okay? I lied during this episode because I said during the episode that the webinar on how to find a dope Black therapist is on the 16th and 23rd, but that is a lie. It is actually on the 23rd and the 30th. So please, 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 if you are signing up for the webinar, it is on the 23rd and the 30th at 6 p.m. Eastern. In the webinar, we're gonna teach you how to find a Black therapist. And at the end of the webinar, you will get the opportunity to be connected with a Black mental health professional from Safe Haven. That's a professional that we vetted, that we can ensure can help you to heal and resonate with your experience. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, please tap in. The link is gonna be in the description of this episode. It's also going to be in our social media bios, and it's gonna be on our website, expressyourselfblackman.com/links. Pull up with a friend or a loved one and tap in and get some of this healing. With that being said, please enjoy this episode. I enjoyed it myself. I would love it if you guys would leave a review if you find value in the episode, and subscribe if you're on YouTube, and like if you're on YouTube as well. And again, I'm sorry, I lied. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. All right, y'all, we're back with another episode. We are here with Odie, Professor Odie. Man, last time we did an episode, classic. Classic. It has been a while, way too long, bro.
Yeah.
Way too long. So this episode, just for your knowledge, is gonna release around like November-ish time frame. So we're gonna talk about a lot of different things. But first, before we talk about everything, I want you to introduce yourself, explain what it is that you do for the people that don't know you.
Most definitely.
And then we'll tap in.
All right. Good people, great people, guys, people, how y'all doing? My name is Professor Odie. My full name is Odilakachi William Hezekiah Onkwe. Of course, I'm a Nigerian man. Shout out to Nigeria. Shout out to the Igbo people. I'm a therapist, a mental health and wellness coach. And my what it is that I do is I focus on teaching people how to be selfish. And when I say teaching people how to be selfish, it is so that they can unhook themselves from their trauma patterns, unlearn them negative internal trauma narratives, so that they can improve their quality of life overall and increase, their self-positivity, things of that nature. So that's what I do.
Listen, bro, last time, I want to get straight into it, bro. Last time we talked, you mentioned something. First of all, one of the clips went like viral, stupid viral.
Yeah.
What I mean by stupid viral is there's some clips that sometimes it'll go viral on one platform, it won't go viral on another platform. It's just the way some things work. That clip went viral on Instagram. I mean, over 1 million on Instagram, and it also went viral on TikTok, over 1 million on TikTok. So that's what I call by stupid viral, right? So what you were talking about in that clip is normative male alexithymia.
Yes.
I wanted to dive deeper into that because I don't feel like we dived as deep as I wanted to in that episode.
Yeah.
So first of all, can you explain to the people that didn't watch the episode, what is normative male alexithymia and how does it impact Black men?
So normalized male alexithymia is a socialized push for men to remove themselves or suture themselves from their emotional dispositions, right? And how it affects Black men specifically is that culturally, a number of us as Black men end up engaging in normalized male alexithymia to the point where we, Bell Hooks calls it soul murder, right?
Okay.
It is the removal of our emotional self from our physical self in order to allow ourselves to bask in that point of masculinity that says, I can take any form of punishment. I can take any form of beating. I can take any form of abuse and still stand strong and call myself a man. So normalized male alexithymia is the specific focus on removing yourself from your emotional disposition in order to withstand pain and punishment without grimacing, without buckling, without, showing any type of weakness or pain, right? So we understand the point of masculinity, or a number of people believe that the point of masculinity is to show no weakness, show no pain, show no, remorse, show none of these things. So basically show no vulnerability, right? And normalized male alexithymia is the socialized ingraining of that in men and boys as a proxy to more established masculinity, if that makes any sense.
Yes, I want you to explain, like, how does that impact black men? Because I know some black men are listening to you explain it right now, and they're like, listen, this is how I grew up my whole life. There's no problem with it. I'm doing just fine. So how does it impact black men? Why should black men even care about it? Why is it problematic in your eyes? Is it not problematic? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
So I believe that it is an issue. I believe that it does not allow for black men to be able to express themselves holistically, to be able to express themselves firmly. So for example, there are a number of black men who, in the space of emotional intelligence, in the space of communication, especially in the Express Yourself Black Men group, they have experienced engagements with other black men or with black women where they feel as if though their emotions were used against them. And from that point, they just shut down. But I feel like a number of us shut down because it's a knee-jerk reaction or a defense mechanism instead of being able. So in the last group, I said to the fellas, why are we quicker to fight to take up physical space and not quick to fight to take up emotional space? Because we don't have the tools. Right? So a number of men will say, a number of women, they will utilize manipulative techniques in order to take up a lot of the emotional space in the relationship. Normalized male alexithymia robs you of the language that is necessary for you to take up that space, for you to actually assert those boundaries, or for you to actually call out those behaviors when you see them. You just believe that simply because you are a logical being and this woman is a emotional being, that's just what she does. No, brother, that's manipulation. But you can see that it's manipulation, but you can't say it. Why? Normalized male alexithymia. You literally don't have the language.
Man, so you're talking about the Safe Haven group that you do the groups.
Yes, sir.
Right, so just for explanation, for context, so Odie is one of the Safe Haven healers and one of the facilitators that we have inside of Safe Haven, which is a platform that we created for black men. And so inside of that platform, you do weekly, or no, not weekly, you do twice a month sessions with the brothers, a psychoeducational support group. And inside of that group, you're hearing some of the brothers talk about some of their experiences with emotional vulnerability when it comes to women. I think you just mentioned a very interesting point, which is that we fight to take up physical space, but we won't fight to take up emotional space. Man, so what are some signs, right? What are some signs that a man has, dealt with normative, male alexithymia? How can we identify this in a man?
The quickest and easiest way to do it, bro, you good? I'm straight. I'm straight. Your soul is in turmoil. Your spirit is in turmoil. Your mind is doing flips, but you have been taught to say, I'm straight. No, you're not. You're crooked as fuck. Your mind not even right. How are you straight? That don't even make sense to me, right? Your mind is in shambles, yet because you as a man are taught to respond to things logically, because you believe that talking about it will give you no recourse or give you no reprieve, because it's not logical, you are taught to give the most logical answer, which is, I'm okay. No, you're not. That is the largest indicator of normalized male alexithymia. Men being socialized to say that they're okay when they are not.
So then okay, how do we combat that, right? Because one of the things that you mentioned that you wanted to discuss today, I'm not even gonna go there yet, because we're not even gonna go.
We're gonna get there.
Yeah, we're gonna get
let it simmer, because last time you got on because you was like, damn, Odie, you jumping. I'm like, all right, cool, you feel? Let it simmer. Let it marinate a little bit, because we gonna get to it past the kids, you feel me?
I wanted to get straight there. I got a whole list of questions. That question's like 5 questions down. I said, nah, let's jump straight into that. Hold on, y'all. We got some heat for y'all. Just give me a second. Okay, so how does this impact us in relationships? And I want you to talk about both the romantic and platonic.
Okay.
Because I think the platonic is one that we don't talk about enough, but it does impact us heavily in platonic relationships. But let's talk about the romantic and platonic. How does this impact us in relationships?
So platonically, I think it's very interesting because a number of us as men do not know how to approach each other in such a way where we know we are learning how to approach each other vulnerably, right? We are learning how to give each other more open parts of ourselves. But what becomes difficult is it's almost like going to a construction site and saying you finna build a house, but you ain't got no tools. You feel what I'm saying? It affects our platonic relationships by us not having the tools to support one another in spaces of vulnerability. Because a lot of us believe that a man supporting another man in a space of vulnerability because we hypersexualize ourselves, we think it's homosexual, right? We perceive it to be homoerotic, and it's really not. It is just allowing yourself to be supported in a space where you need support, right? But I think we need to do a little bit of demystifying, right? And I think we need to do a little bit of reconstructing the narrative, because it's not as if though men are not vulnerable in their platonic relationships. It's more so along the lines of, once again, we have been taught to uplift one another through normalized male alexithymia and through those canned responses. You're gonna be all right, bro. Tough it out. Pray about it. X, Y, Z, and A, B, and C. This is a reiteration of the things that we have been taught. We believe that these are the appropriate tools, right? And in the examination of how it is that those tools have created these structures, we recognize that these structures are rickety. But in us attempting to explore and gather other tools, we are met with the resistance of a society that does not have an archetype for an emotionally intelligent man. Right? So a number of men are not only just feeling the weight of not having the tools, they are feeling the weight of having to go find them and then carry them back. And I believe that a number of men underestimate that journey.
Right.
Does that make sense?
No, I get exactly what you're saying, because not even just, okay. Let me add to what you're saying, right? It's not even just carrying the tools back, because you're not just like carrying the tools and putting them down. No. You gotta keep the tools with you at all times.
You gotta keep
right?
swinging them.
And in a society where there's a bunch of men that don't have the tools, you look abnormal for carrying the tools around with you all the time. You look weird. Why is this dude always comfortable with expressing his emotions and knowing exactly how he feels and crying? And you look weird, because in a society full of men that are not doing that, you're the weird one. You get what I'm saying? So exactly what you said about not having an archetype for an emotionally intelligent and vulnerable man, like I completely understand what you mean by that, because there's a whole like narrative that if a man is emotionally vulnerable, like there's something wrong with him. Like he's either gay or some other thing, but most of the time he's gay. He's gay. That man cries, that man gay. That's really what it is. When you call a man weak, like really what we're really saying underneath that, like that, at least I could be bugging, but I'm gonna put this clip up. Most of the times, I think most men don't feel comfortable expressing their vulnerability because they feel like that's too close to being gay.
I want to take it a step further.
Go ahead.
It's too close to being a woman.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And because women are perceived as not only just so it's not necessarily physically weaker, it's cognitively incapable.
Okay,
right?
Explain that.
So in other words, it's very, for a number of men, it's very cut and dry.
Okay.
Right? It's a I can't think of the word right now, but it starts with bi, right? But it's you're either emotional and cognitively inept, or you're cognitively competent but emotionally inept, right? I've read threads where women have said, a man has told me that a man is either emotionally intelligent or cognitively intelligent. He can't be both at the same time. Yeah, that's what I said too. It was like, I don't think I've ever had my emotional and cognitive intelligence insulted in the same sentence. Wow, right? It was out of pocket. But there is this perception that emotions not just impact or inform, but they corrupt your ability to engage cognitively. So when men perceive other men who are emotional, they believe that that man does not have the capacity to make logical decisions. Scientifically, that's incorrect.
Right.
Emotional data is data. Right. Emotional intelligence actually improves your overall IQ. Right. This is the reason why, once again, there are a number of people who understand that the reason why women's frontal lobes develop quicker than men's frontal lobes is because they allow themselves, or they are socially given the space to explore that emotional intelligence.
Right.
So they literally are utilizing more information to work with.
Right.
Men are not given that same space in a lot of different ways because, once again, it is the idea that it's wartime indoctrination. You cannot make effective decisions if you're thinking. You cannot make effective wartime decisions if you're emotional. I give you an order and you march. There's no space for you to ask me why. But why is a critical component, and why do I feel? I know some men don't even know what they're feeling. I just feel tense. And because the only association I have with tension is anger, then I feel angry. No, you don't. You're anxious.
Right.
No, you don't. You're hurt.
Right.
But once again, that emotion, even in the sense of men who are not able to manage their anger, they are looked at not as weak, but just as emotionally inept, right? But men who verbalize their emotions, men who are able to expand on what it is that they are feeling emotionally, they are looked at as cognitively inept because of the way that it is that we frame women.
Break that down.
Couple of things. Number one, when we talk about traditional masculine ideologies, right? Traditional in the United States will always mean white.
Right.
One of the core pillars of traditional masculine ideology is anti-femininity.
Okay.
Anti-femininity means to stay away from anything that is resembling of a woman, right? It goes back into the rigid gender roles, or goes back into the rigidity of the presentation of gender, right? That rigidity means that if you have any portion of you that is feminine, it's not that, like, you have to remove it. It's almost seen as cancerous, right? Because if this grows in you, then you will become an inept man. You will become a woman, right? And the core of that growth is emotions. The core of that growth is emotional expression. Why? Because even since Grecian times, Roman times, the word hysterical, the root word is hyster. Hyster is also the root word to what? Hysterectomy. It is a condition of a woman to be emotional. So why are you why are you being hysterical? Why are you acting literally like a pussy?
We got, listen, Odie. We're gonna pause.
You do this to me every time, bro.
Hey, listen, bro. I'm not gonna have you coming in here and putting down all this information and not giving people a chance to process. Some people gonna be driving, listening.
They gonna stop. They gonna park the car like,
oh my God. Yeah, we don't need all that. I don't need insurance claims. And you know, like, we just gotta give people a chance to process what's being said right now. Because that hister bar, that hister bar.
Yeah, that's also the reason why you ask how does it impact us in relationships, romantic relationships. That's the main reason why a number of men end up in relationships where their partner, they talk about men hating their girlfriends. We very rarely talk about the girlfriends hating the men. Why? Because you consistently invalidate her emotional reality. But the reason why you consistently invalidate her emotional reality is because you've been trained to invalidate your own. So how can you have a whole relationship when you are not even acknowledging this whole person?
But the thing is, here's the problem, Odie. The problem is, we don't even see it as not acknowledging the person. We see it as like, this person is not logical.
So in our heads, the reasoning is, oh, they're just in their feelings. This is not logic. You know how many times I've seen comments where it's like, facts over feelings. Logic over emotions. And it's like, bro, how do you expect someone that's very clearly feeling something to just disregard that?
Right.
But the thing is, because we're doing it so often ourselves, we're like, why can't you do that?
Right.
I'm doing that all the time.
Right.
I do that all the time. This is normal for me. So why can't you just do the same thing? And let's just push past this thing. And then it's a her thing.
Yes.
It's a her thing. It's not a me thing. There's nothing wrong with me because this is how I grew up and this is what's been working for me. But it's like, is it really working, bro?
It's not, because once again, we talk about, I love that quote, facts over feelings, because it's only facts over feelings if it aligns with how it is that you as the man feel.
Brother.
Like, let me say something that you don't feel good about. Now all of a sudden you want to argue. No, brother, you're not being factual. You're not being factual. You're not. Women are the more emotional creatures, brother. Did you know that when babies are born, they cry at the exact same rate? The exact same rate, right? It ain't no part of me that's feminine, brother. Men and women both have testosterone and estrogen in their bodies, both of them. They may not have them at the same, they may not have to have them at the same intensity, but they both exist, right? Women's frontal lobes develop a year faster than men's. So neurologically, that means that women are usually more logical than you are. So is it that she's more emotional, or is that she's angry because nobody's listening to what it is that she's saying? But then when she started laying that logic down, now all of a sudden, you're emasculating me. That sounds like a feeling to me, sir. So is it really facts over feelings? Or is it that these facts have to align with my feelings about what I believe is fact?
Odie, like I said, brother, we're not going to I won't give it slack with you.
They gonna be in the comments, man. Bro, because you know every time I get on here, I piss somebody off. Bro. Somebody gonna get mad. And I'm looking at this camera saying, I don't give a whole fuck. You'll be all right.
Listen, bro, I'm gonna tell you something right now. I cannot wait to throw that clip up, man. Oh my gosh, that facts over feelings clip is going to hit. There's certain times I sit down in a podcast. There's few times I sit in a podcast and I'm like, bro, I can't wait. That clip? Bro.
Get ready for the comments, bro, because you know they coming.
I don't care. That is facts. That's facts. I've never heard it put that way though, but it's really facts. It's only facts until it aligns with a man's feelings. Damn. Because you know how many men can't hold themselves accountable for stuff too?
Oh yeah.
You get what I'm saying? It's like when a shorty pulls up on you and is trying to hold you accountable for something, you don't want to take accountability for it.
No.
You have no interest in like being accountable for it. She can lay down all the facts. Yo, last time we talked about this day, you didn't do it. And that made me feel this way, da-da-da. Then it's like, oh no.
What you mean?
Give me an example.
The give me an example part, I get it. But the what you mean, bro, I ain't reading all that. This sign can't stop me, I can't read.
Bro, listen, I'm telling you, bro. I've had conversations with women where it's like, bro, like, I can't trust this man because I'll ask him to do something and he'll say he'll do it and then he won't do it.
How you gonna lead her and you can't lead yourself to do what it is that you said you was gonna do? The sexiest thing to a woman is not money, it is not this 666 shit, it's follow through. That's the real reason why they're attracted to what it is that they're attracted to. It's not the money, it's the fact that you set a goal and follow through on it. It's not the body, it's the fact that you set a goal and follow through on it. It's not anything other than the follow through. It is the ability to signal It is the ability to signal psychological stability through showing what it is that you are able to do with yourself before you are attempting to bring her into a space where you lead this space. But have you led yourself through where it is you're trying to lead her? And for most brothers, the answer is no.
That's a fact. That's a fact, bro. I always tell man, like, there's a few things that we have in this world that no one can really take away from us, bro. Mm-hmm. And one of those things is your word.
Word is bond.
If as a man, bro, and this is something I'm very, very passionate about. I try, because there's sometimes, you know what I'm saying, like you're gonna slip up. Some things are gonna happen. Things are gonna come in a way, right? But I try, right? I try my absolute hardest. If I say I'm gonna do something, especially to Naima, I do it. I do it. You know what I'm saying? Because I never want Naima to listen to what I say and have to question whether it's going to be done. Because that's one of the worst things as a man is when you say something and the people around you that love you and care about you
hit you with one of these.
They hit you with the, yeah, all right, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, all right. I never want that. So whenever I speak my word, bro, that's it. It's gonna happen. It is going to happen. Whenever I give you a time, I'm gonna be, that's what's gonna happen. Because as a man, I cannot allow the people around me to think that I'm not a man of my word, that I'm not reliable to what it is that I say I'm gonna do, bro. That's very, very important for me. And I think it's very important for setting up a family, because you cannot set up a family all willy-nilly, not have any type of direction in which you're going, and people can't trust your direction, because that's very important. If you can't lead your family by them trusting your direction, you're really gonna have a bunch of chaos. Everybody's doing whatever they wanna do. There's no head of the household, because you've shown yourself to not be able to be that head. You're not reliable. You can't be head of a household if you're not reliable.
You can't be head of a household if you don't know how to think.
Let's get back to it. Let's get back to it, brother. Let's get back to it, brother. Listen, I know the ladies listening right now, they're loving every second of this and feeling validated. You know what I'm saying? So I want to ask you right now, as a therapist, what are some of the strategies that you use when you're working with men that may be dealing with this, right? And like, what are some of the tools that you can give a man that may be listening, or even a woman that's listening that has a man that she can relate to, like she can relate to this conversation? What are some of the tools that you can give?
So, just for clarification, we're asking about men who are understanding how to engage in vulnerability, correct?
Right. Men that are dealing with that, know they're dealing with this normative male alexithymia. How do they combat that? How do they get through that?
So the first thing is you have to develop a sense of emotional self-awareness. Okay. What are you feeling and why, right? So understanding what your triggers are, understanding how it is that you respond to particular things. Usually with men, I teach them to start in the body, right? Okay. So whenever you feel an emotion, your body will tell you that you're feeling something. So is your stomach turning? Is your heartbeat increasing? Are you clenching your jaw? Are you furrowing your forehead? So for example, with me, my heart rate increases. I'll start clenching my jaw. My back will get real tight. And I know that I'm feeling something. Sit with that and attempt to understand what it is that you're feeling. Oh, I'm angry. Angry is a secondary emotion. What caused you to become angry? Right? And a number of men will go into disrespect. Okay, so I want you to reframe that. Why did you feel disrespected? Did somebody do something or say something to hurt you? Right. Because a number of men process hurt as disrespect. Ooh. Why? Because you are supposed to be my peace. You are supposed to be my safety. Why are you causing me internal chaos? This hurts. This reminds me of a period of time where I was unable to defend myself, right? Now that I'm able to defend myself, I'm going to push back against what it is that you're saying. Right. So for a number of men, I asked them, tell me about when you were younger, right? Because what I'm beginning to recognize, well, not beginning to recognize, I've recognized, but I've had to shift up the way that it is I approach it. A number of men have a significant amount of mother trauma. Okay. A lot of Black men have a lot of mother trauma, right? And that relationship with their mother in their formative years creates that space that they attempt to shield everybody else from. Why? Because this was a period of point in time in my life where I could not defend myself against what this person was saying. I could not speak up or I could not engage back. Why? Because they're gonna flip the fuck out.
Right.
They're gonna try to beat me. They're gonna try to put me up. They're gonna try to destabilize me further. This is the reason why so many men, when they are in relationships with women and the women engage in manipulation tactics or manipulation techniques, the men can see it, but because they're used to it, they believe that this is just how women are. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. I'll take it even a step further. The men can see it, but because they're used to it and they're used to the reaction of when they were younger of just having to deal with it, that's what the default is. Because I've had that as well, right? Where I was in a past relationship and I know like there's certain things that are going on that's not necessarily the way I feel comfortable in a relationship and it's not necessarily healthy, but because I'm so used to like just not doing anything, I'm just like, all right, whatever, bro.
You minimize. You minimize yourself. You shrink yourself.
Right, because I'm like, to me, I'm like, you know what? As a man, happy wife, happy life. As long as she's happy, it is what it is, and no matter how I feel.
And see, that's a bunch of bullshit. That's the reason why niggas be out here cheating.
That's true too, because like, I'm in a relationship, she don't make me happy. But do you communicate that you're not happy? Have you even had that conversation? No, because if I communicate I'm not happy, I'm a bitch.
Now see, here's the thing though. I'm gonna challenge that a little bit.
Go ahead.
That's how I've been doing my research. There are a number of men who do communicate that, but when they communicate it, what happens is that the women that they are with engage in, once again, so it's Darvo.
Okay,
right?
What's that? Explain that.
It's deny, attack, reverse, victim, and offender.
Explain that.
The conversation goes from what it is that I said to how it is that you feel about what it is that I said. So you are denying what it is that I'm saying. You're attacking me. Now, I'm the victim of what it is that you're saying, and you are the offender for bringing it up.
So give me an example, right? As a man, you came into a situation.
I don't like the way that it is that you're talking to me right now.
Okay.
For a number of men, they are already at a point where they are attempting to manage themselves, so their voice may be a little raised. Right. You're being mean.
Right.
You're screaming at me. No, I'm frustrated. Well, the way that you approached it made me feel, so now it's a very quick, the turn happens very fast.
That's a sharp turn.
Sharp turn, right?
Right.
And I'm not saying that in this situation, this woman is not able to express herself, but what I'm saying is that if you are not careful, that woman will continue to drive you down the road. It's like, okay, I apologize for my voice being raised. I apologize for that.
But can we get back?
I want to get back to this point.
Right.
And a number of men will not get back to that point. Why? Because they don't have the tools. Why? Normalize male alexithymia.
So to sum this up, a man approaches a woman that he's in a relationship with. They're in somewhat of a heated debate conversation about something going on. He doesn't like the way that she's speaking to him. So he voices
the way that you are speaking to me is harming me.
Right. He voices that. But because he's in a heated situation and he doesn't know how to express himself properly because he doesn't have the tools, it doesn't come out the way in which it should necessarily come out. She receives that and now she says, I don't like the fact that you raised your voice or whatever the case may be. It makes me feel this way. So now conversation shifts to the way she feels instead of the fact that, yo, you were the one that initiated and I'm trying to express. And because he doesn't have the tools, now he's caught up in the spider web of dealing with her emotions. He hasn't been able to express properly what he actually is dealing with, what he actually felt, because he doesn't have the tools. And now that's internalized probably until the end of the conversation and probably never gonna be brought back up again.
Until he cheats.
Or until he cheats or until the next time they have an argument, which again, Darvo, it'll probably happen again. Well, they will revert back to talking about her and her feelings.
I'm gonna give you another example.
Damn.
I'm gonna give you a supreme example.
Okay, go ahead.
You made me feel this way. It wasn't that bad. Get out your feelings.
Odie, please, don't trigger me, bro.
Get out your feelings is the denial of your emotional entirety. and once again, you ask me, how do I assist men through this? I tell them, if a woman places your gender before your humanity, leave her.
Explain that, because a lot of men don't understand that.
You should not feel this way because you are a man. But I am telling you that you harmed me. So what you want me to do is you want me to make the emotional space for you, and you are not willing to reciprocate it for me, girl, fuck you.
I'm sorry. I know you're gonna be mad that I'm laughing, but I mean, that's facts though. It's facts.
I am an equal opportunity, I'm gonna piss you off person.
Everybody gonna be pissed off.
Everybody gonna be pissed off. Everybody finna be mad. Because once again, there are a number of women who somebody said it in one of your comments previously, and I've had these feelings before. This brother said, some of y'all in here are liking and hearting this message and still doing the same thing. And I agree.
No, of course.
I agree, right? Because there are a number of women. So in The Will to Change, in the first chapter, in the first 10 pages, Bell Hooks identified that even in the most studied of feminist circles, when the conversation became about men taking up the emotional space, women began utilizing some of the same language that their counterparts in the patriarchy were using to describe emotional men. Right? These men were identified as narcissistic, dramatic, and wanting to shift away from women's issues by taking up the space on the emotional stage. Oh. So do we really want men to be emotionally intelligent, or do we want them to be emotionally convenient? Do we really want to dismantle the patriarchy, or do we want, how can I say, benevolent patriarchs? Because the word benevolent patriarch literally means good man, good father.
You know what I realized, bro? I think I do feel that way. And I don't want to get myself in trouble. But I'll probably get myself in trouble. It is what it is, bro. I'm gonna keep it stacked, bro. I feel like
you gotta take the risk, G.
No, I don't take no risk. I'm speaking my mind. It is what it is, bro. I feel like, honestly, like a lot of women, whether it be in feminist circles or whatever you want to call it, bro, like, or just women in general, like, they don't like some of the aspects of patriarchy, but they really like some of the other aspects of it.
There's a book called When Chicken Heads Come Home to Roost. It's by Joan Morgan. It says a hip hop feminist breaks it down. In that book, she asks 10 questions. She poses 10 questions to her feminist counterparts, her black feminist counterparts. And she said, one of the questions is, does it make me less down for the cause if I say out loud that I dig some of the parts of patriarchy? That's one of the questions and this is the reason why I be telling brothers like, yo, white feminism, black feminism, and womanism they're different ideologies. Y'all try to clump them into they're not. They're not. Womanists are more likely to make space for black men, but they are also more likely to question themselves as it relates to the patriarchy, right? Because the reality of the situation is the way in which a number of women have contextualized their femininity up to the point of first, second, third wave feminism was through the context of patriarchy. So if I were to begin, and I've made this comment before, if I were to begin deconstructing the patriarchy within me, if your femininity is, if the ego base of your femininity is based upon patriarchy, do not say shit. Please don't say shit about my fragile male ego, because that means that your ego is just as fragile. Do you have the emotional capacity to tolerate that? If you do not, you are not as emotionally intelligent as you believe yourself to be. You are simply emotionally expressive. And there's a difference between the two.
All right, I'm interrupting this podcast episode to let you guys know to leave a review on the podcast. Please, 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 if you are listening to this episode and you're finding value in this episode, you're enjoying the conversation, or you've enjoyed a previous episode or conversation, and it's safe to operate your phone right now, please leave us a review. Your review is a free and easy way to support us, and it helps us reach more people like you. We're on a mission to build a stronger, more connected Black community, starting with Black men. And you can help us on that mission by taking a minute out of your day to leave a review. Your review helps us generate more listeners, which in turn generates more revenue, allowing us to expand the platform even further. So please take a few seconds out of your day. I know you're busy. I understand. I know you're doing a lot, but it will help us greatly if you would just take a few seconds out of your day to leave a review right now. Did you leave a review yet? All right, let's get back to the episode.
I want people to understand we're doing a webinar, right? So this is coming out in November. We're doing a webinar. One of the reasons why I wanted you to talk about the resources and the tools that are available is because I wanted to make sure people were aware that we have the webinar available, right? So that webinar is going to be on November, let me get that right, November 16th and 23rd, 6 p.m. Eastern, Saturday. Those are both Saturdays, right around Black Friday, right? To make sure that people, when they're doing the Black Friday shopping, they ain't forgetting about the healing. You
feel me?
You know what I'm saying, right? So we're gonna be connecting brothers with therapists, right? Helping them get access to affordable care, mental health care. And that webinar is called How to Find a Black Therapist. It's the same webinar that we always do. And at the end of the webinar, we give folks an opportunity to connect with safe haven healers like yourself.
Indeed.
Right? So like yourself, right? So if, this is what I'm saying, if anybody is listening to what you're saying, they're a man or they have a man in their life and they're interested and they're like, yo, listen, I wanna work. You're doing those groups inside of Safe Haven.
Yes, I am.
You're also having sessions with brothers inside of Safe Haven.
I am.
Right? So if anybody's interested, they can pop into the webinar. At the end of the webinar, they'll get the discount for the Safe Haven, and then they'll be able to work with you or join the sessions for free as part of their membership, which, to be honest, is like, if they just join one session, one of the group sessions, that's the cost of membership is more than paid for.
You're going to get your money's worth.
Right, more than paid for. Just imagine this podcast, a little more.
Every first and third Tuesday.
A little
something
bit.
like this.
And way more raw, because you know what I'm saying? As much as people may think you're being raw right now,
oh, no.
I already know.
Oh, no. No. I'm asking you very direct questions.
Yeah, I already know it's a completely different process inside the group, bro. So I want to transition a bit. I'm excited now because now we can get to the question that I wanted to ask you before, right?
Indeed.
I'm so excited I can't even get to the question. But anyways, right? So how do you feel like the societal pressures and the things that we see on social media, the narratives that play out, impact men that are already dealing with normative male alexithymia?
It reinforces it strongly. It makes them believe that what's the point of me being emotionally vulnerable if emotional vulnerability is something that is seen as sassy or zesty or things of that nature, right? I made this point in the Express Yourself Black Man group, literally the one that we just recently had.
Okay.
We as men will take the risks to get to the bag. We'll take the risks to increase our wealth. We'll take the risks to be more, be more materialistically viable. We will not take those same risks in the space of emotional vulnerability and intelligence, right? We are quick to tell women that they are wrong, that they are incapable, that they are in these physical spaces. What's happening with these emotional spaces, right? What's happening with these spaces where we as men, as Black men especially, and as Black men who are engaging with different types of emotional knowledge, different types of tools, social media will make you believe that women, Black women, do not value emotionally intelligent men. But here's where it gets very interesting. The algorithm is a reflection of what it is that you believe, and it is an amplification of what it is that you engage with. My timeline don't look like that. My timeline is full of women like LaVon Briggs and affirmations for Black men. Like, that's what's in my timeline. But that's because that's what I reflect out into the world.
Right.
Right? Discernment comes with risk. Discernment comes with vulnerability. Discernment comes with engagement, right? So the point that I made in the Express Yourself Black Man group with one of the brothers, I was like, yo, if you're somebody who was raised, because one of them was raised in the South, I was like, you raised in the South, so you know you can't just talk about the word, you gotta live the word in order to get holy discernment. It's the same concept. The same concept. Social media is a lot of people fucking talking. Bro, people be lying, bro. Like people be lying. I need y'all to understand. Folks be lying. Folks be fronting their moves. Folks be bullshitting. Folks be exacerbating. Like, come on, bro. Come on. But once again, if you do not have the balance, if you do not have the offset, you will believe that this is the absolute reality, and it's not.
Right.
Social media is a small fraction of individuals who, I say it all the time, social media is an extension of reality television. It is, right? Very rarely is reality television reality.
Right.
We know this to be true, right? So is it that this is what it is, or is this what you are engaging with, thus this is what's being reflected back to you?
Right.
Are you willing to engage in that critical analysis of yourself? Why are these the things consistently coming across my timeline? That's one, but also two, how do I feed this narrative?
Right.
You dig what I'm saying?
I definitely dig what you're saying, bro. And the thing is too, bro, I want people to understand this. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
There we go. The absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence.
Exactly, bro. Because oftentimes, right, because brothers are so used to seeing a certain narrative on social media, they assume that that is what the reality is. My girl has a saying that your perspective is your reality.
There we go.
And that oftentimes is what's happening with a lot of these brothers. They're scrolling on social media, they're constantly engaging with all of this negative content. What do you think Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever is gonna do once they see that? It's just gonna feed you more of it, bro. You know what I do when I watch a video and I engage with a video that I don't like? I make sure when I see a similar piece of content like that, I click do not recommend this ever again. Do not, I'm telling the algorithm, don't show me this bullshit no more, bro. I'm not playing with you. I'm setting my boundaries in these apps. I am not playing with these apps, bro. Even if you catch me slipping, I'm gonna quickly correct that because I don't wanna see this content, bro. People share content I don't like, I quickly mute. Not because I don't fuck with you or because I don't give people chances or whatever. I don't have the space and the time to have to, every single time I click on your story, have to process some shit within myself, bro. And it's not to say that I'm ignoring things because I do the work, but it's just, bro, like when you're emotionally intelligent and you're emotionally vulnerable and you know what it takes to process emotions, you don't wanna have to be processing random ass emotions because you click on somebody's story every time. I don't have time for that, bro. I have a whole process I go through to have to deal with difficult emotions when things come up. People sharing all this Black Death online and all these different kind of things. Bro, I know what my capacity is.
I don't watch those videos.
I don't watch any of those. Yo, you see the video with this person, that person, what happened with? No, I did not.
No.
And it's not because I don't want to be informed. I'm gonna be informed, but I'm not watching someone that looks like me, myself, you know, me, my aunt, my family member, pass away at the hands of police or somebody else, bro. I have no interest in doing that.
Because it's going to enrage me.
It's gonna enrage me and it's also gonna bring up other things that not that I don't have the space or time to process, but that I do not want to have to process. I have other things that I have to be doing. You get what I'm saying? And so it's like, bro, like you have to be willing to do the work to that extent. And I think oftentimes, bro, people want it to be so simple. Why can't I just go on social media and it just automatically just shows me great things? It's like, nah, bro. You're engaging with things that you don't necessarily want to see, but you're engaging with it anyway. You're not correcting the algorithm, bro.
You are engaging in passivity and expecting a reward in return. That's not how it works.
Exactly. It's definitely not how it works, bro. I have a saying that I tell the brothers, I'm like, yo, bro, it's always better to be proactive than reactive.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? If you're seeing something that you do not like, do not wait until it becomes a problem for you to then react to it. Like I said, bro, when I see content I do not like, bro, I'm proactive about that. I make sure if I see it again, bro, boom, we nipping that in the bud. I'm not waiting until weeks down the line when it's done changed my mind about how the Black community interacts with each other and Black women don't like Black men and da-da-da. Like, I'm not waiting until all that happens, bro. I'm not waiting until all that happens. And it wasn't until I really did the work to start Express Yourself Black Man and was intentional about finding spaces that celebrated Black men like me, that act like me, that show up as me, that I realized, like, bro, like there's a whole other side of social media.
1000%.
And there's a lot of brothers that will never see it because they don't even make that a possibility in their minds. Mm-hmm. Even when I see the, and we joke around about this all the time, but even when I see comments like, where can I find a woman like that? Or a woman like this don't exist, or where they at? I'm like, bro.
How do they not exist? And you're
seeing it. But you know,
because she's standing in front of you. I can't, hey, Chineke now. That's not real. Nigga, what?
Bro, you know what's so crazy, bro? Some men will never be satisfied, bro.
Of course not. That's the reason why Prince made the song with Doves Cry.
Bro, and I'm telling you, bro. And you know how I know this to be true, bro? Mm-hmm. Because there's some men that when they see a woman bashing black men, they'll be like, see, this is why we can't have nothing because there's black women like this. That same man, when they see a woman that's celebrating black men, will be like, I don't believe her, she's pandering.
But here's the thing though, bro.
So you can't, no matter what the reality, you put yourself in a situation where you don't believe it regardless.
There's a zero sum. Right?
It's a lose-lose.
But I'm gonna keep it $150 with you.
Go ahead.
$150 with you.
Go ahead.
That's a trauma response, sincerely, right? Because once again, we got to think about how it is that a number of these men, and this is something that I've come to be a little bit more compassionate around.
Okay.
When black men talk about their experiences and their trauma with their mother.
Okay.
And then black women will say, you're just trying to find a way to blame black women. It's like, no, you're engaging in the minimization of this man's trauma again, right? This is what it is that I've experienced that has caused me to perceive this in this way. Now, where I stop with the brothers is like, okay, you've now validated yourself.
Right.
What work are you willing to do in order to correct this course of action?
Let me go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish and I'm gonna.
Because what you are doing right now, sincerely, is that you are genuinely just hurting other people because you are hurt.
Right.
You don't want to admit that you're hurt because me man, I leader. I'm not give a fuck about that, right? The reality of the situation is you are looking for somebody to validate your trauma. But if you are not careful, you will become an emotional vampire. You will become an emotional black hole. You will need to continue to feed on other people's positivity in order to not supplement, but even create positivity of your own. Why? Because you don't believe that it exists. So you hoard it. It's almost like somebody who experienced food insecurity when they were younger. They hoard food. They hoard food until it rots. Why? Because they don't know where the next meal is going to come from. You don't believe it because you have not experienced it to the rate and to the intensity that you can be secure that it exists consistently. Because a number of them have only experienced that pleasantness when somebody was attempting to get something from them or when somebody was attempting to make them do something.
Manipulative. Therefore, I don't believe it. There has to be pandering because in my experience, that's the only time somebody speaks like this.
Exactly, because the word pander means to make available or to present something that is immoral and unethical. Manipulation is immoral and unethical. So you have to have an ulterior motive. You have to want something from me. Because I've never experienced anybody just loving me just for me. They only love me for what it is I can do.
In the context of what it does for them.
There we go.
Oh my Lord. Brother, like I said, we ain't gonna just skip through all these revelations. We're gonna give some people some time to process all of that. Because what I'm not gonna do is have the emails coming in, brother, I was driving and Odie, and I swerved my damn car and I hit. Listen, I want nothing to do with none of that.
Hey man,
and we gonna give them time.
Listen. We gonna let it marinate for a little bit.
We gonna give them time. Bro, and you know what's crazy? I'm looking at these questions, right? And I'm like, man, we tapped into all of these already. And I love that because it's like, bro, the conversation just naturally happens. I always tell people on the podcast, like I'll send scripts out to folks and they be like, oh, are you really gonna ask the question? I'm like, yo, relax. Relax. It'll be a conversation. I never just hop from question to question. We just gonna interview. No, bro. No,
that's weird.
No, that's mad weird. That's mad weird. Listen, bro. I want to tap into what happens as a result of this normative male alexithymia? What happens as a result when a man is in this state for prolonged periods of time, right? Where does that potentially lead him?
What happens when something dies and you don't remove it from where it has died?
It rots, right?
Yes, it becomes toxic.
So what you're saying is when a man doesn't have the space to express his emotions over a prolonged period of time,
He becomes toxic.
because there's a piece of him that's dying.
Dead. Not dying, dead.
He said, no, let's make.
No, let's make it very clear. It's dead. It's dead.
And he's just like, all
right, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? That's the pussy part of me anyway. That's the reason why the way that men speak to themselves is usually from a domination and power removal. I have to muscle through this. I gotta thug this out. I gotta like all of these things have to do with literally you are speaking around and about, causing psychological, spiritual, and emotional harm to yourself. That's what you're doing. You are attempting to, I gotta kill this part of me that is making me feel these things, because in my mind, feeling these things removes me from my mission. And now you, once again, when we begin talking about men's substance abuse issues, it is when we remove it from the space of overindulgence and place it in the context of self-medication, it becomes a lot more illustrative of what men actually experience as it relates to the extreme parts of normalized male alexithymia. So I made a TikTok back in like 2022, and I said it was in response to we need to be more, our ancestors didn't have therapists, we need to be more like our ancestors. And I said, that's the reason why your father was drinking and smoking so much. It was because he didn't have a therapist, but it was also because he was attempting to numb the pain of whatever it is that he did not resolve within himself during this period of time. Maybe it's self-resentment. Maybe it's the fact that his wife does not allow him to express himself. Maybe it's because his kids always, for Father's Day, don't give him nothing other than tools of labor. Maybe it's because he doesn't feel as if though he has the opportunity to engage in his inner child. We can go on and on and on, right? Because if your inner child is dead, if your inner adolescent is dead, it cannot remind you that you are slogging through the world a half version of yourself.
Bro, you know, yo, I be wanting to hop into these next conversations, but I just feel like it's really important for us to take these pauses, bro. It's really important for us to take these pauses and just have people digest what's being said, bro. Because it's not like, bro, like that's so real. And like, it's continuously like reinforced the narrative, like, nah, you don't need that. You don't need that. You don't need that. Like, I'm just thinking about relationships too. Like sometimes, that's why it's so important who you get with, especially as, like we talk about it in context of women. Like I've told my girl before, like, cause I'll see some of her friends or like some of the people that she knows that will like either change positively or negatively when they're in a relationship with a specific person. Like when your relationship or the people that you keep around you, it's very important because that creates your society.
They're real.
Like when we talk about society, we're not necessarily talking about the society as a whole.
No.
We're talking about the society or the village that you have around you. What do they believe? What do they think? What do they think about how you express yourself? Are they the ones that are forcing you to have to not be able to tap into your inner child? Because a lot of times, and I'm sorry, but again, when we get back to that conversation about how some women like some aspects of patriarchy, like that be it for some of these brothers. Like they'll be in relationships with some women and it's like, they can't be anything but a macho man. I can't go play games. I can't play a Fortnite. I can't play a Call of Duty. I can't do anything outside of provide and do for you.
I asked women this question. I said, because it was around the conversation of men hating their girlfriends, and I said, okay, I have some opinions, but you may not like them. And one of the questions that I asked is, does he have the space to be his own man, or do you only make space for him to be your man? Those are two completely different things, right? Because once again, your perception of him and your idea of him and your conceptualization of him has just as many parts of the patriarchy as his conceptualization of himself. They may be different parts, but they're still parts, right? There are parts of you that enjoy him engaging in labor for you. Y'all make jokes about it all the time. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that.
Right.
Have you ever asked him how that impacts him?
Right.
Right? Do you make space for him to verbalize that outside of the way that you've internalized in your mind of how that expression is supposed to look?
Right.
Because once again, if you have an internalization of how it is that him expressing himself is supposed to look, you are still looking for him to engage in performative masculinity.
You know what's so interesting, bro? I had a clip that went viral on TikTok. I had no expert. There's certain clips that sometimes you put them up, and you're like, all right, this is whatever. That clip went viral. I was like, wow. Of all clips, this is the clip that goes viral. Anyways, they thought I hated Naima, bro. I'm gonna explain why, right? So in the clip, I'm talking about I had a crazy work day, bro. I'm talking like I was working back to back, meeting after meeting after meeting, probably barely ate that day. At the end of the day, right, like probably like 7, 8, I'm finally getting some time to myself. I go and I grab some food. I'm on the way back home, I'm bumping my music. I'm finally doing something for myself. I had an entire day doing things for other people, doing things to provide, doing things to make sure that I'm showing up as a man that I need to be for other people. I finally get to the point where I'm able to just get food, a basic need, and just chill. Naima calls. I'm like, oh hell no. Bang it immediately, because I don't even have the capacity to be able to tell her like, yo, I'm not even there right now. You get what I'm saying? She calls again. I'm like, fuck, bro. Not at her.
At the situation.
At the situation. Because I haven't had a time to decompress all day. And now in the time that I'm decompressing, I now have to show up as her man. You get what I'm saying? Not the man that I want to be. Not the man where I get to just decompress and be myself or whatever, right? So I answer the phone, doesn't lead to the greatest conversation because obviously I'm in the middle of my feelings. I haven't really been able to process, haven't been able to decompress, right? People are like, yo, in the comments, when I put this clip up and I explained, right, I commented like, yo, listen, I wasn't right for the way that I answered the phone and had the conversation with her. We already dealt with that, obviously. Right? I explained where I was coming from. I apologize for my reaction. But what I was trying to get, the point that I was trying to make is when we as men prioritize everybody's needs over our own, that where I was at the end of the day, is where we end up. Now imagine a man is doing that, not just for one day, but weeks, months, years at a time. How do you expect him to operate? You have to give space for him to be able to have the time to be his own man. And when you consistently intrude on that, when you consistently want him to show up regardless of what it is that's going on with himself and you don't make space for him to be able to process his own stuff, you have a man that, like you said, has a part of him that's dead, that he doesn't even have the time, even if he wants to remove it and process it. Because the people around him in his society have shown him and told him that part of you, it does not matter if that's dead and you need to deal with it. You need to deal with me first. You need to consistently deal with me first and put me first over yourself. I don't care what you got going on internally. Let's deal with all this external stuff because that's what really matters. It's like, bro, I'm telling you, that's why I was saying like who you end up with is really important because in that situation, while Naima was frustrated and upset, she said, all right, babe, call me back. And I got the time to finish what I was doing, decompress, call her back and have the conversation and be like, listen, babe, this is where I was coming from, I'm sorry. She said, yo, babe, next time I understand. Just tell me that.
Just tell me.
Now, because I had that as an example, it's like, all right, cool. If I'm ever dealing with a situation like that again, I don't have to be like, fuck when I get on the phone with her. I just be like, yo, babe, listen. I'm in the middle of a song, I'm chilling. You know what I'm saying? I'll call you right back. Give me 15 minutes. And I've done that, and she's been able to deal with it. She's like, all right, babe, cool. But what that takes, though, is a woman that's willing, you know where we're going, a woman that's willing to put her man's needs above her own needs in a moment.
I'm gonna take that a bit further.
Go ahead.
I usually don't say above or below.
Okay, go ahead.
Right?
Explain.
Because once again, above or below is hierarchical. That's inherently Eurocentric.
Mm-hmm.
Your man's needs have the same amount of gravitational pull that yours do.
I like that.
Right?
I like that.
They can occupy the same space.
Mm-hmm.
Because for a number of women, they have the same. That's the reason why the film Waiting to Exhale even exists.
Mm-hmm.
Because Kizzle, at that point, you needed to exhale.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So there are a number of women who you can express what it is that you just expressed.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll say, women go through this every day. You know what? Once again, that's a denial of what it is that I'm feeling, but I'll get back to the point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then how does it make you feel when it happens to you? Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you feel what? Unheard. It makes you feel overlooked.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you feel neglected. It makes you feel insignificant. It makes you feel all of these different things. So at this point now, me being the logical one, I have two outcomes to this. Either A, you don't believe that men have the emotional capacity to have these same feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Or B, you know that they do and you just don't give a fuck. Pick one. Because either way, you're going to have to do some deconstructing, little baby.
That's a fact. I love the fact, I love that you just did that too, because I already know if I put that clip up, it's gonna be oh my, I deal with this all the time. I still gotta take care of the kids and do that. Ain't nobody saying like, nobody's saying that you don't have space to process your own stuff too. All I'm saying is I dealt with that.
Mm-hmm. It's not zero sum.
Right. It's not that I deal with this and because I'm dealing with this, that makes it that when you're dealing with it is invalidated.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm just saying, yo, I had a moment where I dealt with, bro, and it's so crazy. It's so crazy, but it's not crazy at the same time. Bro, like, I feel like sometimes when we start talking about men's problems, again, some of the women that like some parts of the patriarchy, they don't want to hear that.
No.
They do not want to hear men having issues.
No, because it interrupts their vision of the superhero.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because imagine you're in Gotham.
Right.
Right? Or imagine you are in, let's say that you're in the DC universe.
Mm-hmm.
And you see Superman one time, oh my God, and then you get used to seeing him, right? Somebody shoot Superman with a kryptonite bullet and that motherfucker don't get up. Your stomach is going to drop. There are a number of women who, when they hear, and once again, Bell Hooks talked about this as well, there are a number of women, when they hear that this man is weak, that their anxieties about being exposed to particular vulnerabilities override their ability to empathize with that man.
And here's the thing, I want to correct that too, because it's not weak, right? When they hear that a man has humanity, because that's what it is. Because a lot of times we strip men of their humanity, it's foreign for a man to have humanity. And if we go back to the superhero analogy, right? When people see that superheroes are actually human, like got shot with kryptonite bullet and actually not getting up, he actually has parts of him that are human, it's like, damn, like you're not invulnerable. You're not impenetrable.
I was about to say, not human, but penetrable.
Right, penetrable, right? When they see that and they understand what it actually means, which is, if we want to dive a little deeper, to me, like what it actually means is like he can't always show up for all of the things that I want him to do in the times that I want him to do it. It's like, damn, like, wow. It like shocks, I don't know, I guess it shocks the foundation that they've built this idea on.
It cracks the pedestal.
Right.
If they built one for you.
Right.
Or if there is a perception of men that they have, and you as a man show up and you do not meet this perception, it causes cognitive dissonance.
And explain what cognitive dissonance is.
Cognitive dissonance is when you are faced with a reality that is so far away from your own that you feel physical pain or physical discomfort, right? So the ick, I'm almost certain that that's cognitive dissonance in real time.
Explain what the ick is for people that don't know.
All right, so for y'all don't know the ick, it's this whole, this give me the ick, and this give me the ick, and this like, bro, sometimes when I read some of these icks, it's like, shorty, kick rocks with glass socks, because you just do, he sipped out of the straw, they give me the ick. You can go play in traffic. Because that's wild, right? Oh, he doing all this, that's giving me the ick. All right, you can be disgusted, but you can be disgusted over there,
Right.
Because I'm not going to deal with a woman who has that level of not only just criticism, but intellectual inflexibility. Oh, this type of man don't exist. No. You are not allowing him to exist and show up for you. Because you want him to perform it in the way that you want him to perform it. Instead of him performing it the way that it naturally comes to him. Oh, I don't want to have to coach somebody on how to love me that gives me the ick. You sound like an idiot. So this man is just supposed to know, oh, but that's the bare minimum. Everybody's bare minimum looks different, right? The reality of the situation for a number of men is two things. One, because they have been removed from their emotional selves for so long, when they do finally show up in a space of emotional vulnerability, it is fragile.
Right.
It is fragile. It is almost like a rebirth.
Right.
Right? That for a number of women is like finally. But then there is the verbalization of, that's kind of sort of, you're not giving it space to grow.
Right.
You're not giving it space to grow.
Right.
On the flip side of that, for a number of men, that is their excuse to not do the emotional work. Because I'm not going to be rewarded. Why do you have to be rewarded? In order to engage in your own self-development.
Think about it too, and I'm gonna put it in financial terms because a lot of men can understand this, right? We're talking about this holistic healing. We're talking about a lot of the work that men have to do with the emotional and mental aspects of their holistic healing, right? Men can contextualize the work that they had to do for their financial selves. Men will go through hell if it means that they're gonna get to a better financial health, right? Better job, better income. What you're saying is, why can't you go through that same hell for your emotional and mental health?
I'm gonna put it to you because I also do behavioral finance, financial psychology, things of that nature. You are actually more likely to spend more money and lose more money when you are not emotionally intelligent. Because you will spend money in order to make yourself feel better.
Right, in order to fill a void.
Bro,
you know how many men are out here just buying designer, buying cars, buying all these things that they don't need because they believe that that is going to make them somehow better. And when I say better, it's like, I mean better as in like, growing up, I always felt this way about myself. So now that I have a little bit of bread, even though I know I really can't afford it, I'm gonna buy the bust down Rolex. I'm gonna buy a chain. I'm gonna buy a BMW, a Benz. I'm gonna buy
the Hellcat.
I'm gonna buy the Hellcat. You feel me? Right? I'm gonna tune the shit out my Hellcat too. I'm gonna tune my BMW. That's gonna be the loudest. It's gonna have all the blocks. You know what I'm saying? But I can barely afford it. You get what I'm saying? I can barely afford it. My financial health actually hasn't even gotten any better. It's actually weakened. But because I feel like these things are gonna make me feel better about myself, I go ahead and buy them anyway. And that's a void. And that void is most likely because you have some type of trauma, something that hasn't been resolved. And you feel like the only way to resolve it is by collecting all these material things to make you feel better about yourself. Bro, I stopped spending, bro. I wear the same stuff, bro. I only buy clothes every so often when I know I gotta go do a talk or something like that and stuff don't fit me or whatever. Bro, I run back the same outfits. I don't give a damn, bro. I have no desire to make people feel like I'm doing better or whatever. I could care less what people's opinions of me is.
If you are not if you are not encapsulated by the person who I present myself as to you, then you were not the one for me. We were not the people for one another.
Right. That's a fact, bro. And no amount of clothes, designer, materials is gonna change that. It's gonna change that at all, bro. I wanna shift the conversation a little bit, bro. I wanna talk about depression a little bit because I feel like there's a lot of men that as we get into the holiday season, right, cuffing season, if you may, are either gonna be in relationships that they're staying in that because they don't feel comfortable being alone, or they're out of relationships because they know the relationship wasn't good for them because they're probably dealing with some of the things that we talked about earlier. And they're dealing with that depression in one way or another, right? I'm depressed because I'm in a relationship where Shorty does not value me and she doesn't make space, she doesn't allow me to have that space, right? Or I'm depressed because I just got out of a relationship and now I'm single and I'm in cuffing season and I'm trying to figure out how to navigate that. So what would you say to these two men on how to deal with those things?
Celebrate the holidays with your homies. Straight up. Right? Throw a Friendsgiving, throw a friend's Christmas party. Celebrate it with your tribe. Right? Because a relationship only goes so far if that relationship allows you to be who you truly are. Right? So it's almost, if you are staying somewhere simply because you are afraid of being alone, or if you are staying somewhere simply because you believe that that's better than being alone, you have not taken the time to get to know yourself. And I don't say that in the cliche way. I say that in the way of you are attempting to hide the parts of yourself that you do not want to accept in somebody else. Right? They are serving as a distraction to the growth that you need to be doing within yourself. Right? You are running from you and into somebody else. That's the reason why y'all keep butting heads. That's the reason why y'all keep having these arguments, because you are attempting to manage them and manage their stuff instead of managing your own. Spend some time with yourself, right? Not in the space of isolation. When I say yourself, I don't mean it in the individualistic way. I mean in the expansive, relational way.
Okay.
Right? Your family, your friends, the people who remind you of you.
Okay.
You feel what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. Ooh, I like that. Because I always tell men, like, it's important to do the self-reflection. And I personally found it helpful to do the isolation when I was self-reflecting, but I also understand what you mean about, like, the family and the friends. I think the problem is there's a lot of men that don't feel like they have even family or friends that they can find to do that with. So how would those men navigate this?
So that's where it becomes very difficult, because I would go as far as to say, why do you feel like you don't have family and friends to do these things with? Is it because they've actively harmed you? If that's the case, don't return.
Right.
But do you feel that you cannot engage in vulnerability? If that's the case, utilize this time to practice vulnerability. I need support. I feel alone. Can I come kick it with y'all? I just need to be around people who make me feel whole. You would be surprised how people respond. Right.
So you're saying basically these men need to create the space.
Yes.
I like that. Because oftentimes I see the complete opposite. It's like they haven't created a space for me, so therefore there is no space. And we put the onus on the people around us instead of doing the work to actually create the space for ourselves. And I think that's very, very important, bro. Like, that's why we have the motto on the platform, leading with vulnerability. Because I don't wait for people to create the space for me to be vulnerable. I go into spaces and I create it myself. Then I make it uncomfortable for the people that don't feel comfortable creating space. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, If you don't like when people create space, that's not my problem. That's your problem.
I got 4 questions that I was meditating on, and I was like, yo, it's a way for me to break this down, and I can break it down extremely simply. Where are they? There are 4 questions related to relationships that I was like, yo, 4 relationship questions, and this can go for either platonic or romantic.
Right.
Number 1, can you initiate? Number 2, can you regulate? Number 3, can you reciprocate? Number 4, can you relate? I.e., can you empathize? Utilizing those 4 pillars in any space really gives you a framework by which you can begin to create those spaces. But you have to engage in self-reflection and ask yourself those 4 questions. Are you able to do these things? And the first question is, can you initiate? Can you actually go and do? Right? And the reason for that is because a number of people will say these things. Oh, I can. Show me.
Right.
Show me. If there is no space, create one.
Right.
Because according to y'all, we the folks who built the whole world, but you can't build a space of vulnerability. We the leaders, you can't lead yourself into a space of emotional healing. We the protectors and the providers, you can't provide yourself and other people with an emotional space and protect it. Utilizing boundaries and emotional regulation tools. My brother, you gotta show me. You gotta show yourself.
Brother, we're gonna sit with that for a little bit. And I really don't want to do all this shit. Because you know we got somewhere to be.
Yeah, we got somewhere to go, my boy.
But Odie, you keep hitting them with these bars, brother. I gotta give them time to process, bro. I can't, bro. Especially for the folks, there's gonna be some folks, I know when the clips go up, there's gonna be some folks, this is their first episode, bro. We can't just drop. I was like, you know what that remind me of, Odie? When I was 5 years old, bro. When I was 5 years old, I had a traumatic experience, and this is why I struggle with swimming to this day, right? I was at a pool party. I don't think I had a life jacket on, nothing on. I was just in a bathing suit. I think my older brother takes me to the edge of the pool and just drops me in. Immediately, panic, and I start drowning. I don't know how to swim. I'm 5. I've never been in water before in my life, outside of taking a shower. I start drowning immediately. Luckily, people see me drowning, they pull me out. I said, oh, hell no. That set the tone for me and water for the rest of my life. How does that relate to this podcast? The reason why I'm taking these breaks, brother, because I ain't gonna be driving these people in the pool and having to start drowning. They gonna say, oh, hell no, I'm never tapping into another one of these episodes ever again. That was too much. We gotta take these breaks, bro.
This motherfucker said, I'm trying to take a bath and you drop me in the goddamn ocean.
Exactly.
What time you are?
Exactly, bro. Nah. We ain't gonna do that to these brothers, man. We ain't gonna do that to these brothers.
Not to get them buckets.
We ain't gonna do that to these brothers, bro. Listen, bro. I wanna end with something that's real, that's so real, bro. Like, there's a lot of people right now that it's family time, a lot of family gatherings, and a lot of people don't like their family. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of family relationships that are fractured. There's a lot of crazy stuff that's happening in the family, trauma. Certain people maybe come around that you don't really mess with. How do they navigate those things? How do you navigate dealing with difficult family during family gatherings, during family events or during the holiday season? What are some of the tools, the tips, techniques that folks can use?
Stay true to yourself. Stay true to your boundary. And also recognize you have your birth family and you have your chosen family. Right? And your chosen family may be an extension of your nucleic family. But the people who you know that you are in spaces of contention with, do not allow them to define how it is that you relate to others and how it is that you relate to yourself. Right? Your beef is with them.
Right.
Not with everybody else.
Right.
Right? Because when me and my father stopped speaking, there was a period of time, and we back speaking now, But there was a period of time where I would be hesitant to come to 1635, right? It's the address in Chicago where I grew up. And I told myself, I'm like, yo, if he decides he don't want to speak to me, that's his decision. As a man, that's how he has decided to move. I'm a man. I could decide to move differently.
Right.
So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to continue to engage in particular levels of movement that allow me to continue to feel whole.
Right.
I'm not going to allow how it is that you have decided to engage to define how it is that I engage with my family. The beautiful thing about being an adult is that you can also set a tone.
Right.
Right? If it is too tumultuous, you don't have to go.
Right.
But if you decide to go, if you decide to engage, you are in control of you. You are in control of your tone. You are, and when I say tone, I don't mean the way that you're speaking. I literally mean the way that it is that your vibrations engage in that space. You are in control of that. You are your own metronome. You feel what I'm saying? And don't be afraid to step back when you need to step back. Right? As much as you are a part of that family, you are your own person.
That's a fact.
So when you hit your limit, do not feel obliged to continue to engage beyond your limit, right? It's a Bob's Burgers episode. It's hilarious. And it was a Christmas episode too. Bob was like, this man, and I thought it was a beautiful example of boundaries. This man had a kitchen timer. And he set it to 10 minutes. I could only be around my dad for 10 minutes at a time. After that 10 minutes is up, something happens and something goes left, right? Can't do no more. I probably can do less, but 10 is my max. Whatever your maximum is, let that be your maximum until something shifts to expand that space.
I like that a lot, bro. You know what I do too? If I know difficult family's gonna be around, I either just don't show up or I spend as much time to myself as possible. Cause that's what my limit is. You get what I'm saying? So like sometimes like if I know difficult family's gonna be around, I'll just go take myself on a little date. I'll be back later. Just hit me when they gone. Cause I don't got I protect my space all the way.
There we go.
And that's for me. Some people may not have that ability. So I think what you're saying definitely makes a lot of sense, bro. Last question I want to ask you, because we definitely got to get up out of here. Bro, there's some men that are in relationships and they're feeling the financial pressure of the gift giving right during the season. You know what I'm saying? I gotta get her something because I see her friends that got this, they showing this, and this is what's going on social media. How do they navigate that, bro?
Be honest about your pockets, fam. That's step number one. Be honest about your pockets. Women lie, men lie, numbers don't lie. Be honest about your pockets. That's one. But also two, it means that you have to improve and increase your creativity.
Explain that.
In my experience with women, gifts fall into two categories. There's material and there is meaning. Right? You can give a gift that is meaningful that does not have to be materialistic. If you can give a gift that has a lot of sparkle and shine to it. You can also give a gift that shows that you've been listening.
Right.
And some folks will ask, well, what if that gift is the gift that she's been asking for? What if that's not the only thing that she's been asking for? I can guarantee you that that's not the only thing that she's been asking for.
Right.
Right. So, for example, this is not gonna come out till after her birthday, so I can say it, right? My girlfriend is, she likes to create content. She likes to create food content, right? I done already paid for the whole, her birthday, we going to Jamaica. So she did the flight. I paid for the all-inclusive resort, like everything, you know what I'm saying? Her birthday, her actual gift is gonna be a cell phone content creator kit. Very simple, not very flashy, but it aligns with what it is that she likes to do.
Right.
It aligns with something that she enjoys doing.
Meaningful.
It's meaningful.
Right.
Right. And this is what women say this is what women mean when they say it does not have to be expensive. It can just be meaningful. Pay attention to the things that your girl needs as much as what she wants.
We miss out on the needs, bro. Because the needs are harder. The needs take more work.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I do with my girl, bro? I always say this, but I'm gonna say it again for some of the folks that are getting dropped into the ocean in this episode, right? I study my girl, bro.
1,000%. If you don't got a note in your phone, that's all the shit that your girl.
Come on,
Step
bro.
your game up. You gotta step your game up. Step your game up, nigga. Get that note. Take them notes. Take them notes. And the first set of notes, bro, I'm gonna give y'all a key, bro.
Go ahead.
The first set of notes that you gonna take, bro, when she get on her period, I shit you not. Pay attention to the pads or the tampons that she uses. Pay attention to the snacks that she eat. Pay attention to the movies that she watch, and pay attention to the food that she eat. Once again, food and snacks is two different things, y'all. Food is meals and it's snacks. Pay attention to the products. Pay attention to the snacks. Pay attention to the TV. Pay attention to the meals. For example, my shorty, she used 2 of the honey pot. She used the purple joints and she used the orange joints. The snacks, Reese's. Food, anything with red meat in it. The shows, anything that's like baddies, anything in that genre, she cool.
And let me show you how I do my work.
Yeah.
Let me show you how I do my work, right? When I go on my girl, right? And this may be TMI, because I even don't like when I talk about these type of things, but it is what it is. You don't show the work that you do, so I gotta step up as a man.
You feel me? We gotta do a little bit of the manly, do you feel me?
Right? My shorty's an ATL shorty. I don't mean Atlanta. I made an acronym for when she's on her period, what she needs for her pads. ATL, always thin, long. And when I told her that at first, she's like, you're not gonna remember that. I said, all right. That was like 4 years ago, bro. So now I know if she ever need pads, bro, she don't gotta send me a picture. Nothing, bro, I know where we going. I know what we doing. Always thin, long, bro. Always thin, long, bro. And for me, like, she don't like to give baskets and all that. She wants to cuddle. She wants me to be gentle. I can go like this to her. She's like, oh my God, you're too.
She overstimulated.
She's overstimulated. So I know when she's on her period, I gotta just as gentle as, hey, you good? We cuddling more. You know what I'm saying? I'm making sure the food is made. I'm making sure I'm plating her food, bringing the food to her. She also gets more hot. The temperature in the crib gotta be cooler. You know what I'm saying? Bro, so all of these things, you gotta pay attention because all of this creates a space where she sees you as, what did we talk about earlier? Leadership, but also she sees you as reliable.
That provider and that protector is right there.
She knows that when I'm dealing with my most vulnerable self, this man will be there to take care of me. I don't have a problem having kids with this man if that's where we wanna go. I don't have a problem letting this man lead because I know he pays close attention to my core needs. He's there for me when I'm at my most vulnerable state. Bro, listen, tell the people where they can find you, how they can tap in with you, bro.
Good people, great people, guys, people. Y'all can find me on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube at either. It's gonna be professor.odi or professor_odi. Professor.odi on YouTube. I almost lied. Try professor_odi on everything, then professor.odi on everything. But if you put in Professor Odi anywhere you go, I'm gonna pop up because it's me, right? Also, my website, www.professorod.com. That's where you can find all of my services. I have a support community that is the selfish community where, once again, I teach people how to unhook themselves from their trauma patterns and unlearn their negative internal narratives so that they can have a higher quality of life. And I also still do one-on-one coaching for the folks who are looking for, that extra push, that extra engagement, or that assistance in improving their quality of life.
Love that, bro. And you're doing that inside of Safe Haven. You're also doing the groups inside of Safe Haven. And we have that webinar that's coming up again. That's November 16th. And the 23rd is Saturday, November 16th, 23rd at 6 p.m. Eastern. We're gonna be teaching folks how to find Black therapists. And at the end of the webinar, we'll be giving a discount for folks to get inside of Safe Haven and actually get connected with healers like yourself and other folks as well and get those groups for free. Brother, I appreciate you.
Always.
Thank you so much for showing up.
Had to slide to the crib.
Let's make it happen, bro. Let's get you out of here, bro. Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you are planning an event or you are part of your organization's Black employee group and you are interested in having dope Black mental health professionals or myself come in and do a speaking engagement or a workshop or a keynote address or a panel,
please click the link in our bio on Instagram or TikTok. Scroll down and click book us for speaking and brand deals and fill out the form available on our website. Once you fill out the form, one of our team members will get back to you about how we can collaborate and create something dope for your organization. This is an unparalleled opportunity. We are currently the largest Black men's mental health platform, and we have a few slots available for our calendar year, and we would love to partner with you to create something dope for your organization if it makes sense for both parties, right? So go to the link in our bio, scroll down, click book us for speaking and brand deals, and fill out that form. If you're not on Instagram, the link should be linked in our description of this episode. And it is also on our website. If you go to expressyourselfblackman.com/speaking-brand-deals. That's expressyourselfblackman.com/speaking-brand-deals. If you are looking for a therapist, a Black therapist, and you've had a hard time finding one, you've jumped from therapist to therapist, or you just don't know how to find a therapist, we are teaching a free webinar. It's completely free, taking you from not knowing how to find a therapist, not knowing where to search for therapists, struggling with finding good therapists for you, not knowing what to look for in therapists, teaching you all of those different things, and also giving you the opportunity at the end of the webinar to be connected with one of our safe haven healers who are Black mental health professionals, so that you do not have to go through the struggles of finding a Black therapist alone anymore, right? So if you're interested in that, you want to get connected with a Black mental health professional at the end of the webinar, or you just want to learn how to find a Black therapist by yourself, you can sign up for the free webinar. It's linked in our bio on Instagram and TikTok. You just click that free webinar link once you click the link in our bio and fill out the form. You can also find it on our website at expressyourselfblackman.com/links and fill out the form there for our next webinar session. If you're not interested in any of that, right, but you know someone that may be interested in it, all we ask is that you please share it. If you want some of the merch that we show on the platform all the time, that we're wearing on the platform all the time, you can shop it at shop.expressyourselfblackman.com. And once again, we just want to say thank you so much for watching this episode. Thank you so much for supporting us. Please, if you are on YouTube, leave a like, subscribe, comment. If you're listening to this on an audio platform, please leave a review. It helps us out greatly. Thank you so much for your support. We're wishing you nothing but the best and sending you and your family and your loved ones love and light. Peace.
Sometimes I know you feel like you ain't got nobody to speak to. A shoulder to lean on, somebody you could preach to. No, you need to hear it, my brother, I love you. We got way too much to live for.